Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd get some updates out there, show you what I've been working on a little bit this morning and yesterday after releasing the new Kriel ship. Um, to start with though, I wanted to show you a new Kriel Space Station POI being built by Escarli. Um, very cool looking station, lots of spiky things and stuff and very, very Kriel. So that is underway. Now this version is probably from 3 days ago, so I don't know if there's been more work done to it since then. I know on this version the interior wasn't done yet, but it's definitely looking very, very nice. Just kind of curious, are these texture lights? Yeah, you know when I spawned it in, some of the texture lights aren't turning on. Probably because it's a POI. I bet you it has an alien core. I can't give it fuel. And sometimes the game does that. I don't quite understand why. Maybe if can I even turn it off? No, I can't turn it off or on either. But other than that, it is underway and looks very, very cool. Now, what I've been working on, besides the super carrier or space carrier, is some updates to existing ships. Now, there's another author I'm going to make mention. LadyRayneCloud has been also updating a lot of different military survival series creations. And I will leave a link to the collection that all those updates are in on the video description. And there's quite a few of them already. So a lot of the older stuff. So it's pretty interesting seeing like some ships that were made eons ago now are functional again. So that is cool. And thanks a lot, LadyRayneCloud, for doing all that. It's not exactly fun updating ships, in my opinion, but it does in a lot of cases need to be done if it can be done. So some ships that have now been updated and the blueprints are updated on the workshops is the Transit CH3, the MLV-Intrepid. This is a CPU tier 4 as well as this one. They didn't fall in the right areas to try to get either one of these to CPU tier 3, although they don't use near as much CPU as they need for tier 4 either. So that is the case on that. And by the way, this ship flies really quickly. I even went in here and where are we here? And dialed down some of the stats a little bit on it, with the roll being half, pitch a little bit down, but this thing is very maneuverable. It has no RCS in it, anything like that. It's a little crazy. It was supposed to be a quick ship though. It's a luxury like sports ship, so you know it is what it is. It was designed to be something different. So moving on, the Charon CH10 has also been updated. This is again a CPU tier 4 CV. No other real changes were made to it, short of I did add the CPU blocks. If you're looking for them down in this cargo hold area, I removed some deco pipes that were over here on the sides and put the four, yeah, there they are, the 4 CPU tier blocks in here. So this one is functional, flies really good, a lot of power, as what it was meant for in the first place. Other ships, Merc-AME has been updated on the workshop. This is Alpha 12 again. This is CPU tier 3. Didn't have enough CPU left over to add a shield though, because I was going to try to do that. But looking at the CPU on it, where it's sitting at 31,000, a shield is I think about 15,000. So it shoots it way over if I try to add one. It does have a nice little home in here that I did play around and first added it thinking I could get away with it. And if you guys ever wanted to do this, if you were to cut away this pipe here and the blocks behind that pipe, you can fit the shield in where it's flush with the wall over here. So it can blend in pretty nicely. And I actually had it done that way. Then I realized that, oh, then it's going to have to be a CPU tier 4 if I do that. So I stopped. But other than that, this is a nice flying ship as well. It's maneuverable and gets around pretty good at CPU tier 3. No other changes or things were made to it. Okay, so now the MCRN Talon T2. This ship has been, well, I kind of consider it my bastard ship. I don't know how else to say it. I'm still disappointed in it. I liked the general looks of it, you know, for what it was. This was built early on with CPU just introduced into the game, as well as the flight model. A lot of things have changed time and time again. And then when it was all said and done, this ship was very underperforming in thrust power and things like that. Now I made some changes to it. Now I kept it at CPU tier 2, and if you can see, I'm pushing it like right to the limits, trying to squeeze as much thrust power as I possibly can into this thing. In which I made some modifications. I had a little bit of CPU left over, so I took that CPU to add some more strafing thrusters to the ship. Then I reduced a little bit of the lift thrust by replacing one of the bigger ones with a smaller one, so I could get even more strafing thrust on the ship. But when all that's said and done, it's still just underperforming. It's not quick enough. I try to make it better. And when I'm flying it around, it's alright. It moves forward pretty quickly, but it doesn't have much brake, and the turning's not super great, but it is still better than it was. I haven't updated this blueprint on the workshop yet. I probably will, just to do it. But basically, the ship kind of falls in a wacky area where it's a little bit too much ship for tier 2, and too limiting on the thrusters that I can place because of it. But then I didn't want to take it to a tier 3 because the whole point of the ship was to be a tier 2. So anyway, I will update the blueprint on this one pretty soon too. It's a little better than it was, but it's still, like I said, it's not great. Now I have the MCRN Skiv out here too, the Skiv CT3. Thought I would look at it, but honestly, my assessment is it's fine how it is, so I don't need to update it at all. It was already a CPU compliant ship with a new flight model. It's very fast. I don't think this one had RCS to start with, so it was set up better. Like this one here was an RCS ship as well. No, it wasn't. I take that back. The AME was, and some of the other ones, but this one was not, and it doesn't need any RCS, and it's very agile. Heavy lift ship. If I remember correctly, what did this thing have in it? I think 30K storage. It had 3 storage bays of 10K each, plus some cargo boxes and stuff. So, but it's just a cargo ship. It's not a combat ship. It has a couple Gatling guns to maybe shoot out a drone or something, but not much on it. So that is the updates on some new updates on those ships. On this, I don't have much to really show, so I don't know if I'm going to get into it terribly much. But I've been playing with a couple settings here in the hangar as well. Now, right now, I added some more hangar lights, so you can see some hangar lights in these areas here. If you notice, the spotlights are off right now. I made a choice on how to handle the lighting in the hangar, and that I decided to use the P menu options. So I added in 2 switches. Now, one's for hangar spotlights, and the other one's for hangar lights. Basically, this area is so big. I'm not saying it's impossible to add in a sensor array to cover it, and it could be done with many sensors, but it just seemed like, well, I don't know. I didn't really like the idea of it, adding all the complication and trying to like map out the whole zone for sensors. So I put them on P menu options. So now basically when you're anywhere in the ship, you can shut off your hangar lights. So now all the lights are off in the hangar. You can turn on the brighter hangar spotlights, and of course the regular hangar lights back on. So now you got basically full lighting in the hangar. I added some deco things up at the top. I almost forgot about these deco lights, so I kind of did that all the way across these bays here for a little bit more visual look. And then something else that was done too, playing around, is I added in kind of a thing where these lights will keep on scrolling when you're in the area. Now these are on sensors, so they're not going to be flashing like this all the time. Just thought I'd see how that would turn out. A little bit different. But basically I've been kind of trying to just tweak out stuff, getting lights on sensors, getting the hangar finalized, stuff like that. Little changes and stuff here and there to it. And also, I'm still scouring for missing textures like this big chunk here that I got to fix up. This happens a lot, probably because I was doing the area below it, and I think I altered the ceiling here, and therefore I have to retexture the areas above it. Somehow this door flipped down again. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the door or not. It's kind of... Oh, come on. Yeah, I don't know why that happens sometimes. Like it was told to be open by the switch, but yet it was closed, and I had to reflip the switch. I don't really know. It's kind of just there to, I guess, if you're in here and you don't want to work on don't want to see the hangar. I don't know. It's just something. But that's pretty much what I've got for today. Basically, a lot of updates on stuff. I'm going to try to get some more work done on this carrier this afternoon. If I can here, and just keep on working on that. And I'm short of possibly doing some fairly quick updates. I'm not really working on any other projects until I can get this carrier complete. As in releasing things, though, I have more stuff to release that's already finished, and that has to do with the SCAR. The SCAR defense turret, the SCAR storage unit, and then I have those 2 SCAR HVs as well. So I got a bunch of stuff to release already that's virtually finished. It's just all small stuff, though, not any of the really big time-consuming builds. But I'm hoping to have this thing done and out in, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks from now. Maybe sooner. Maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of other little things too that on my timeline that I kind of forgot about. One is I never did a final detail level on the body of the ship. I did a mass texturing, and that's where it stays for the most part. And I haven't really done a lot of little details and tweaks and stuff like that. So I better get some light. So there's all kinds of little things that could be enhanced on here. Oh yeah, one other thing before I forget too, I did add in 4 retractable rocket launchers to the ship now. They are up on the landing pads, and I use retractables because they are on the landing deck, and there'll be a switch to turn these on or off. As in CPU as well. Now when this ship was being built, of course, I was scared to death of the CPU, especially trying to pull something like this off. But now that it's nearly complete on the interior, I'm looking at the CPU that's left from 10 million, and that's nearly 1.4 million CPU yet. So that's why I added like the rocket turrets on it. I might add some more weapons yet. In places. I'm going to evaluate like what has the best defense and what doesn't. Now it's not going to get any launchers because there's no point in it on a ship like this. It's too big, it's too slow to maneuver around and target stuff with launchers, and it's not really what it's made for anyway. So it won't get that, but I will explore the idea of getting some more thrusters on here, because I've got the CPU available. I think currently for lift thrust, not that this was ever intended to go to the planet surface, but I believe it only has 6 of these large thrusters for lift. I'm seeing opportunities I can get more on the ship. I might even if a couple more, I might even be able to take off decently from the ground, providing it's not full of everything else, cargo and a lot of things docked on it. But as in docking things, you can certainly park a lot of things on this ship. That is for sure. I wouldn't even want to guesstimate how many SVs and HVs and things you could plump on this ship somewhere. It's plump. Plop is kind of the word I was looking for. Both really, really elaborate words, aren't they? Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got for today to show you. And I'll just keep on working on stuff and get that going. And there will be a link to LadyRayneCloud's collection of the military survival series ships that have been updated for Alpha 12 now as well. All right, you all have yourself a good day. See you later.